literally rifling through a set of images is incredibly useful. It allows you to process a huge amount of visual information. And I mean, people talk about getting your eye in, or kind of getting an understanding of what an artist looks like. And I think it does really sharpen your visual skills. So it's almost kind of maybe it's a treasure hunt, maybe it's a sort of archaeological experience as well, that you are digging and digging and being able to make connections and learning visually whilst you're doing that. An example of what you can do with a photographic archive and the connections that it can make is in the case of research I was doing on Henry Perronet Briggs, who's a 19th century portrait and history painter, not very well known, there's no real published literature on him. But I've been researching his art, and through straightforward text listings, I knew that in 1977 there was a sale of his work in London, but no illustration of that work, so I didn't know what it looked like. It was called in the sale The Seduction. Quite separately, I found an image, just a little lithographed image of an exhibit from the Royal Academy show of 1825, included in a magazine of 1825, which gave a kind of thumbnail of a subject drawn from Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. And it's only by finding a photograph of the picture that was sold in 1977 that I was able to match that picture, which was sold as The Seduction, up with the record of the exhibit from 1825. And identify it, so you could realise that actually what, as far as I knew, was a completely lost painting exhibited in 1825 could be matched up with a painting that passed through the sales rooms in 1977. And it was only using the historical published record in connection with the listings of art sales, in connection, crucially, with the visual record in the photographic archive at the Mellon, that those connections were made. The great value of a photo archive is that you can find things that you can't find anywhere else. You can find records of images that aren't in the published literature or aren't in the kind of the mainstream record of artists. And intriguingly, you also find images of works which are no longer attributed to that artist or no longer associated with that artist. So you find things which you can't find elsewhere. Photographic mount is a physical thing. The piece of card that the photograph is on is a piece of evidence in itself, because there will be the person who put the photo in the archive originally, and they will have put an inscription, they will have put a record of where the photograph came from. But then you'll often find, particularly with the older photo libraries, that subsequent librarians or archivists, and indeed users of the library, have added annotations, added comments when a picture's been exhibited or when the attribution's been challenged or changed. And that in itself can be really crucial evidence. Putting photographic archives into digital form makes them immediately much more accessible. So I think it opens up whole new vistas of research. I mean, the physical archive has real benefits and importance, but if the great strengths of that physical archive are carried over into digital form, you're not losing anything, but actually you may be gaining a great deal in the way that you're able to use and manipulate those images, put them together and file them. They're sort of dropping 10p into the photocopier is perhaps a thing of the past now.